way that people share things with each other has changed quite a bit over the past few years. At one time, sharing pictures and words was done either directly or through mail service. Handwriting evolved into typing, which evolved into word processing. Using computers to process words made it much easier to create, edit, and share documents. The invention of the internet magnified this ability tremendously. A new phrase has evolved to describe this way of sharing information with each other: cloud computing. Cloud computing refers to a system where data is no longer shared on a local computer, but rather is hosted in cyberspace, where it can be accessed by many others simultaneously. Before cloud computing, a typical workflow would be to create a Word document, for example, and send it out as an attachment in an email to others. Under ideal conditions, those who received the email would open the attached document and perhaps edit it and send it back to the person who originated the document. This method of sharing information has many drawbacks. In order to open this document, the receiver needs to have the same application as the sender in order to view the document. Even if both the sender and the receiver have the same application, like Microsoft Word for example, the receiver might not be able to open the document if it was created by a newer version of that application. If collaboration is a goal, the receiver might make changes to the document and send it back to the originator. Other receivers might do the same. After a while, many different versions of this same document exist, but which one is the most current version? Another problem with this method is that it supports the spread of computer viruses through these exchanged attached documents. Once the computer is infected by a document, it is easy for that user to spread the infection to others. Another problem is cost. Every computer that opens this type of document needs to purchase its own version of the program that creates and reads these documents. A lot of money is needed to purchase applications for all the users, and even more money is needed to keep these applications up to date. Cloud computing is a way to avoid all of these problems and create new opportunities in addition. There are many internet-based applications for creating documents. One of these methods is using Google Apps. A Google Doc is a universal writing application. Anyone who has an internet connection can use the same writing tool that everyone else has. When one person creates a Google Doc, everyone can read it. When upgrades are made to Google Docs, the upgrades are also universal. Everyone in the world receives the upgrade at about the same time. No one gets locked out of a document because they have a different version of the application. With local computing, it is possible to have several generations of the same document and get mixed up about which version is the most current version. With Google Docs, the current version is always the one that is immediately displayed. Each document contains a revision history, however. Any editor of a Google Doc can see all the revisions of that document that have led up to the current version. The distribution of documents created in the cloud is transparent. By looking at the share settings, one can find out if the document is public or private and how many people have editing rights to that document. Another advantage of cloud computing is that documents, for all practical purposes, are virus-free. It is simply a much safer way to share information. In addition to being virus-free, cloud computing is mostly cost-free. This saves everyone a lot of money, which can be used for other things. Cloud computing has other advantages. With cloud computing, the scale of distribution is virtually unlimited. The owner of a Google Doc can keep a document totally private, shared with a limited number of users, or invite the entire global community to view or edit a document. Different users can also be assigned different roles. An owner of a document can determine who can edit the document, add comments to a document, or simply view a document. Finally, cloud computing makes it easy to integrate images, sounds, videos, presentations, spreadsheets, and surveys with all of these advantages. In education, we want administrators to model cloud computing to teachers. We want teachers to model cloud computing to students. And we want students to model cloud computing to each other.